Yes, sir. We are back, and so are the Ravens. Yes, sir. They started their second week of OTAs today, and you are listening to the Purple Rain podcast, Quiet Storm Sports, where we're going to break down everything that came out of the Ravens castle today. There were some surprises, some things I didn't see it coming. But we will get into that today here on this episode of the show. Also, QB1, he's bike. He's bike. Ladies and gentlemen, he's in the building. So we're going to get into that as well. Before we do, though, please be sure to leave a like on this video. That's right. A thumbs up on this video goes a very, very long way here for our channel. If you do want to support us here at the Purple Rain Podcast YouTube channel. Also, if you want to support, a little extra support, right? You can leave a sub, maybe even join our channel membership, right? Our channel members are actually going to be up for a giveaway on Thursday's episode of the Purple Rain podcast that starts at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We will be giving away a beautiful piece, might I add, of Ravens gear. You guys can see it right here. This shirt, we are giving it away. It is a unisex, the Wild Collective Black Baltimore Ravens Charm City football t-shirt, and we're giving it away in celebration of episode 410. That's right, episode 410 of PRP will be this Thursday, where we will be giving away this shirt to one of our lucky channel members. And all you have to do to qualify for a chance to win is become a channel member of PRP. So if you like that shirt and you want to support the channel, you can kill two birds with one stone and give yourself a chance to win. Okay. Give yourself a chance to win. Shout out to the Charm City. Shout out to everybody from Baltimore who watches the show. Right. Clap it up for you guys. Episode 410 coming up. We celebrating the city, baby. That's what we doing here at PRP. Y'all already know. Big shout out to everybody who's watching live right now. As usual, guys, I want to give a big shout out to everyone who's watching live. Ashley is in the building, member in the chat. What's going on, Ashley? Appreciate you for coming through. We also have Shelly Show. What's going on, Shelly Show? Appreciate you for coming through as well. Good afternoon. Good evening. Chef Spicy. What's going on, Chef Spicy? We have another member in here. He says, I like Bateman, but the Ravens haven't posted him once this offseason. LOL. Kind of messed up, but Lane, Surratt, Hibner, and Cuevas are getting far more attention. Doesn't mean Doyle won't use bait, though. Yeah, I mean, I talked about this earlier in the offseason. I said how I believe that Jesse Minter and Declan Doyle are going to look at a Rashad Bateman not as like used or damaged goods that they can't get anything out of, but more so like kind of like a passion project, right? Like you inherit, like let's say you buy this freaking storage unit off of this guy, right? And it has this really cool piece of like it's got this really cool, like, piece of art or something like that, some piece of furniture that it might be a little bit of a fixer-upper, right? You pour a little bit of time and effort into it, and it can be as good as new and beautiful and super useful and whatever, right? I think that they're going to be looking at Bateman in that same light, right? He's got all the tools. He's got the route running. He's got the hands, right? He's got all that stuff. He's got the height. He's got the size. Why were you guys not able to make this guy work on a consistent basis? We saw what he did in 2024. Right. So I do believe that Rashad Bateman will get that opportunity in this Declan Doyle called offense. And again, for all my bait haters out there, I need you to let me know. Because I'm keeping receipts. Right. I'm making a list. I'm checking it twice. Right. I didn't forget. I'm making a list and I'm checking it twice. I got a list full of names right now of all my bait haters who I got to swing back around to once the season starts. So far, we got 2 Raw ISO. We got B Cam 3100. We got Tanja Bowman in the book. We got Mr. 205 Young Savage with a $5 donation to go with it. We got McKnight _2 with a $5 donation towards it as well. We got Christian, and we also have Asmodeus on the bait haters list, right? That's just so far. Replay gang, drop it down below in the comments if you want to be put down in the book. I don't mind it. I'll put you down. And either one or two things going to happen when it comes to Mr. Rashad Bateman. Either one, he's going to have a great season, and I'm going to expect an apology from each and every name on that list, which I know I probably won't get. Or two, he has a terrible season, or he gets traded, in which case I will personally issue an apology to everyone on that list. Scout's honor. I'll do it. But shout out to you, Chef Spicy Rice, again, a member in the chat. Shout out to all of our members. Love you guys. Appreciate y'all for coming through always. SV Cam says, yo, what's good, Sutton? What's going on, Cam? Appreciate you for rolling through here on this episode. Let me see. Prove you're a hacker, right, bait? Yeah, that's what I want to see. That's what I want to see. Tila, we got the moderator. Miss Moderator's in the chat. Tila M85, she is here. Says, good evening, everyone. Good evening, Tila. And again, special shout out to the replay gang, which means you're watching the replay of this stream. You're not watching us live. Shout out to you. Please be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. All right, without any further ado, guys, let's go ahead and hop right into what we came here to talk about. Why don't we? Okay, so the biggest news coming out of the Ravens castle today was, of course, that they started week 2 of OTAs. But not only that, there was a certain someone. There was a certain someone who decided to show up this time around. And that certain someone is none other than number 8, Lamar Jackson, QB1. And don't get me wrong, when I say he decided to show up, don't take me for like, oh, he just decided to show up for work today. He wasn't lazy today. That's not what I'm saying at all. Just in case some of you out there thought that that was, what I was insinuating. It wasn't. But he's back. He's back, ladies and gentlemen. And I couldn't be happier about it. You can see him here. I have the video pulled up on screen. You can see him here walking out of the other castle and onto the field there. By the way, guys, why have we still not been able to buy these jerseys? Why have the Ravens never allowed fans to buy this jersey right here that we're looking at? This jersey, I would argue, with this exact same colorway, is better than some of the next flight jerseys. Right? I would argue that this practice jersey here that they have refused to release to the public is a perfect hybrid almost of the now older Ravens jerseys and the new next flight jerseys. I truly do believe that. Why can we not buy these? Can somebody from the Ravens, I'm going to clip this up and put it somewhere, but can somebody from the Ravens please give me one valid reason as to why Ravens fans cannot purchase these jerseys? Like, these aren't some of the hardest in the collection. Again, somebody let me know, because I'm not sure. Somebody let me know. Oh, we got some more people want to go in the Bateman hate book. Mad Rasta wants to go in the Bateman hate book. No problem, brother. Don't worry about it. You can go right in the book. Remember, replay gang, if you want to go in the book, just put it down below in the comments. You will be in the book. Mad Rasta going in the book. Bateman haters. All right. And I probably won't catch everybody in the live chat, but I'll take a look at it after the fact and I'll add everybody. All right. But yes, Lamar Jackson is now back at practice. So this is a very bad day. Very, very bad day for the national sports media, who gets their rocks off and their rent paid by talking about how Lamar Jackson isn't fully bought into this Ravens team. Bad day for them. Bad day for that crew. Like I said here, he's back on the field, and they released another video that I want to show you guys here in a moment. But I think the most important part about Lamar Jackson being back here at these voluntary, again, keyword voluntary OTAs, is that it shows and it symbolizes how much he respects, the process that is starting up with a fully new coaching staff and, new players, of course, with the draft, which he's experienced every year. And I know he missed a couple of days last week, guys, but he doesn't have to be there at all. He doesn't have to be there at all. Like, this is literally still like his vacation time. So I need us to remember that at all times when we talk about, Lamar Jackson, whether or not he's showing up to these voluntary OTAs. Do I think that it's important for him to show up and again, be with all these this new talent and brains in the facility? Absolutely. Do I think that, or I'll put it this way, am I at all concerned with whether or not he participates in enough voluntary OTAs or OTAs in general to trigger that bonus that he would get? I'm not concerned with that at all. I'm not concerned with that at all. What that man decides to do, when he's talking about his finances, that's what he decides to do. I can't be mad at that. Again, you have to give this guy a 9-year veteran, 2-time MVP, should be 3-time, and 3-time first team All Pro quarterback. You got to start giving him some grace. You have to start giving him some grace. You just do. All right. So let's take a look here. There was a video that was put out by the Ravens talking about OTAs in general. Before we deep dive into all of the things that happened today, because there were some big takeaways by Ryan Mink that we're going to get into here in a second. They put out this video.
Lamar Jackson was back on the practice field Tuesday as the Ravens OTAs roll on. He's been a fixture throughout the offseason program, and Tuesday he was able to get on-field work with the new rookie class. Building rapport with his new receivers, Jacoby Lane and Elijah Surratt, as well as tight ends Matthew Hibner and Josh Cuevas, will be crucial to prepare the rookies well for training camp. And first-round pick Venga Awane has been excited to team up with his new quarterback.
Oh, man, I've thought about it a lot. His name is a big name around the game. He's been around the game for a little while now. He's a very talented player, phenomenal player. It's going to be a big honor for me and a blessing for me to, block for somebody like that. So,
what up, Dylan?
A lot of pride in that.
Everything elevates when number 8 is on the field, and the energy he's brought this offseason has been infectious. Head coach Jesse Minter said last week that he and Lamar have been in communication throughout. And Wednesday's practice will be open to the media, and Minter and players will address the media at the conclusion of that practice. Those pressers will be available to stream on our YouTube, Facebook app.
All right, so you heard it there. I mean, these guys are out there getting after it. I do want to play the video again. I'll play it on mute for everybody watching the video here so you can kind of see the slow-mos that they got of Lamar Jackson today. Again, those jerseys are absolutely beautiful, gorgeous. I don't know. Again, I don't know why they don't allow us to purchase those. Anywho, you can see him throwing a crosser here to Jacoby Lane. And Jacoby Lane, man, I'm telling y'all, he's looking like the guy who can go over the middle. We've seen him take hits before at USC. You might have issues about his frame. Oh, he's not big enough, something to go over the middle to take those hits from these NFL caliber linebackers and safeties. Maybe not. He's going to have, if there's anybody who's going to have a welcome to the NFL moment, it's Jacoby Lane. Of course, all the rookies do. But Jacoby Lane is really going to feel it. I think so. He's going to go over the middle. He's going to get popped. I think he's going to hold on to it, but he's never going to forget that moment. He's going to get hit by somebody going over the middle, probably in the AFC North, right? I can guarantee it'll probably be an AFC North opponent. But no, I think that with the way that Jacoby Lane is built, and specifically what I mean by that is it's his length, right? In this clip right here, he doesn't necessarily do it, but he is so good at making catches outside of his frame, right? He catches with his hands, if you notice this here. He catches with his hands, right? He's not a body catcher as much. And his hands are absolutely huge. He tested out for having some of the biggest hands, right, in this past draft class for wide receivers. As a matter of fact, I do want to pull that up really quick. Because I think he was in like the 95th percentile or something like that when it came to hand size. So that's why this guy is able to, basically, go up and make these contested catches one-handed.
I think it's
things
more
like
likely
that.
Bateman is traded
Testing,
by August than have a good year in
hand
Baltimore
size,
this
10
season.
and a half inches, which tested in the 99th percentile. Okay, the 99th percentile. Insane. The dude's got huge hands. Super chat donation. Shout out to you, Wandering Raven, dropping the 10-piece in the chat. Let's clap it up for him. Wandering Raven, supporting the channel here, making it rain. Thank you so much, Wandering Raven. Just to reread it here, it says, think it's more likely Bateman is traded by August than having a good year in Baltimore this season. And you know what? I agree. I agree. I very well might have to get on this very podcast, guys, and apologize to each and every one of the people that I have in my bait hate book. And the reason why I say that is because this wide receiver room is getting extremely crowded. And I said this pre-draft. I said that if the Ravens go out and in the first 3 rounds of the draft, if they go out and they get, a wide receiver, let alone two, it's going to get kind of crowded in this wide receiver room, right? And I was started to look at Zay Flowers first and foremost because I said if they get a guy in the first round, if they went out and they got, like a Jordan Tyson in the first round, and then they double dipped, and then the third round they got somebody else, maybe they got Elijah Surratt, right? Then I would have said, okay, maybe the plan is to kind of phase Zay Flowers out, right? But the fact that they got a third and fourth round receiver in this draft tells me that I think Zay is here to stay, right? They're going to end up paying him. That's Lamar's boy. He's here to stay. But outside of that, nobody else is safe, right? Nobody else is safe. And that's where I have concerns for Rashad Bateman. And I have concerns that he won't even get a chance to play in this Declan Doyle offense and show what he's got. That concerns me. And it's mainly because, again, the Ravens spent relatively high draft capital, from their standards. A fourth round pick is still very high draft capital, and most teams. But they spent a third and a fourth on receivers, which means I think that the receiving room is getting a little bit crowded. And if there's anybody who could afford to be phased out, especially considering the types of receivers you basically just got two guys who are bigger than Bateman and can do some of the same things as Bateman. Might be ushering him out. So I totally get where you're coming from there, Wandering Raven. And thank you so much again, brother, for your super chat donation. We appreciate that here at PRP. So here's my thing. Again, when I talk about the hand size of Jacoby Lane, I think that's a really big reason why he will excel as a possession receiver, especially as he puts more weight on. Right, I know he's playing at around like 200 pounds now. Right, he's 6'4". You would like to see him like kind of like fill out just a little bit more, just pack on a little bit more weight because again, in the AFC North, especially in those cold months in January, when you're going over the middle like this and you're extending your hands away from your body, and the likes of, I don't know, Carson Schwessinger or hell, TJ Watt even, or whoever else are coming right at you, that's going to be a wake up call. That's going to be a wake up call. This kid's going to get tested. Like I said, again, if there's anybody who's going to have a welcome to the NFL moment, it's going to be Jacoby Lane, but I still think he can be really good in this league. You also see Elijah Surratt here. Elijah Surratt, he was also a big standout today. We're going to get into that in a second here, but we talked about him yesterday on the main pod, Alex and I am extremely impressed with Elijah Surratt's collegiate career. And for that reason, like when you look at some of the things that Elijah Surratt was able to do in college, it really doesn't make a whole lot of sense why he fell so much. It really doesn't make a whole lot of sense why he fell that far in the draft. I don't get it. I mean, this was a guy who literally on the championship run for Indiana this past season, in the biggest of moments, Fernando Mendoza was targeting this guy. This guy. Who's the other dude? Omar Cooper Jr., right? No, in the biggest moments, Elijah Surratt was the guy. He was Mr. Reliable. And again, you're talking about a guy who is 6'3". And I mentioned to Alex this yesterday. When I look at Elijah Surratt's tape, when I look at his tape and some of the routes, like the routes that he runs, he has zero wasted motion. That's why you can't cover him. You can't cover him. See what a lot of wide receivers will do when they're running their routes. They'll get to the stem of their route and try to get out of their break, but they have to take an extra step or two to kind of recover from their break and get to the direction that they want to go. And that allows a DB just enough time to close distance. But this guy here, he breaks off his routes so cleanly that literally, unless you are running his route for him, unless you literally know his route before he's running it, he's going to create separation. That's what I love the most about Elijah Surratt. That's what I love the most about Elijah Surratt. And I think that he is going to be, if there was any rookie that I would pick to have a breakout season, I think it would be him. He'd be one of my top candidates. I'm telling you. As much as I love, Jacoby Lane, I just got done talking about, the hand size and the 6'4" and all that stuff, right? And possession receiver, all that stuff. But Elijah Surratt is a guy who literally he reminds me of like what D Hop was for the Ravens last year. And once Lamar Jackson figures out that, like, oh, this guy on 3rd and 6, if he's running an out route, I can just time it up to him. He's gonna go get it every time. He's gonna get open every time. Oh, back shoulder throw. I'm trusting Elijah Surratt. You saw him make that catch multiple times at Indiana. Go back and look. You don't have to believe me. He made every catch in the book. Okay. And his route running is very crisp. I think he's a tad bit stiff, but I think that can be cleaned up. But Elijah Surratt is going to be absolutely huge, I think, in this offense. I do. Another super chat donation. This one is coming from Mad Rasta. Mad Rasta dropping the 2-piece in the chat. Appreciate you, brother. Says, never mind Bateman. When is Diggs signing here? Stephon Diggs, that is. I rebuke it. Yeah, I'm not with that one at all. I am all set on Stephon Diggs being a Raven. If there is any, you talk about, oh, Sutton, he had a 1,000-yard season last year. Cool. Fine. So does Zay Flowers. And we love him. We love us some Zay. So why not just stick with Zay Flowers? When it comes to Stephon Diggs, yes, he's a veteran. Yes, he's still productive. But if we're going to bring any veteran into this wide receiver room at this point, it better be a guy. Okay, it better be a guy who we trust to lead the other guys to being better pros. Because there's a lot of young talent in this wide receiver room. Hell, relative to Stephon Diggs, Zay Flowers and Rashad Bateman are both young talent. And then you're going to bring in a Jacoby Lane, Elijah Surratt, and you still got Tez Walker, who's super young talent as well. I don't see Stephon Diggs really, mentoring those guys in a way that, a D-Hop would do. So, yeah, I'm all good on Stephon Diggs. All set. Thank you so much, Mad Roster, for the super chat donation, though. Appreciate that, brother. Bring D-Hop back, says God's favorite. Exactly. Chris, I see Chris in the chat. What's going on, Chris? Appreciate you for coming through as well. Lamar definitely needs to get to the back shoulder game unlocked get the back shoulder game unlocked. I agree with that. 10 speed. Yeah. Because once he figures out that a lot of these guys, he could just, on timing routes, their route running is so crisp. As long as he's not pressured, he can get the ball out to him. It's like an automatic reception and movement of the chains. Yeah. That's going to be tough. Moving along here in this little highlight video, you see Matthew Hibner getting a little work in, Quavis getting a little work in. Quavis had a really good week last week. We haven't heard too much about Hibner just yet, right? But Quavis had a really good week last week. We mentioned it yesterday on the show. Diving catches, right? Catching touchdowns, that sort of thing. And kind of lends to the idea and the long-standing, the tradition of the second tight end that the Ravens draft impressing more than the first tight end the Ravens draft. We saw that most recently with likely and not likely, but Andrews and Hayden Hurst, right? Hurst was drafted before, so we'll see. I really want, as long as one of these guys breaks out, because according to their draft profiles, they have a similar skill set. I think Quavis is a little bit of a bigger body, right? A little bit maybe better of a blocker. Hibner's a little bit better as a playmaker, but they're not worlds apart when it comes to their skill set. So I don't care which one breaks out, as long as one of them does, and they're supposed to both be really good inline blockers as well. So when they're attached to the offensive line, they block well, and I think that that's going to be extremely necessary, especially in this outside zone heavy scheme that we expect Declan Doyle to employ here with this Ravens team, especially with Dwayne Ledford. Change to the O line. You're going to need somebody who can block on the outside, and apparently both of these guys do that really well. Matthew Hibner and Josh Cuevas, that is. So yeah, let's go ahead now and get to. Oh, I want to talk about this too. So here you see Declan Doyle talking to Lamar Jackson, and they're just kind of like, just kind of take this in for a second, right? I'm gonna slow this down. Just take this in for a second. I don't think we've seen anything like this yet. This interaction between new offensive coordinator, again, 29-year-old Declan Doyle and 29-year-old Lamar Jackson going back and forth about, the offense. And I guess Declan Doyle is kind of trying to coach him up here. He's doing his thing. Coach Doyle's doing his thing. You can tell, you can see it in his eyes, even. You can see it in Coach Doyle's eyes. Like he is into this. He's into this in May, even. He's coaching the guys up. Him and Lamar Jackson are talking early and often. And this is what you really want to see. This is what's most important, chat. Like the most important. You have to get these two guys on the same page. If these two men that are on your screen right now are on the same page come September, this league is in trouble. Heaps of trouble. I'm telling you that right now. And by the looks of it here, what we're seeing here, Declan Doyle is being very intentional about getting to Lamar and making sure that these guys, again, are on the same page. And the thing that we hear a lot about this new coaching staff, specifically about Declan Doyle and mainly about Jesse Minter, is how good they are as teachers. We talked about it last week on the show when Jalen Hawkins did his lounge interview podcast. He talked about how Jesse Minter is such a good teacher, even though his system is very complex and confusing when you watch it on screen. Players like Jalen Hawkins attest to it and they say it's simple. It's easy to learn. When you can make a complex concept simple and easy to learn, that is a number one indicator that you're a fabulous teacher. You're a great teacher. And you can see how players react to coaches like Jesse Minter and coaches like Declan Doyle. I remember Jesse Minter in his I think it was like he had like some sort of video when he was with the Chargers and he was coaching up Derwin James. And you can tell Derwin James was really like soaking in and like really, really understanding all the things that Jesse Minter was saying because of just how he was breaking it down. He made it simple and plain. And I feel like that's what we're getting from this coaching staff. So again, you love to see Declan Doyle here chopping it up with Lamar Jackson. You can see him here in the background, Declan Doyle keeping a very close eye on Lamar. Again, why the Ravens don't sell us these jerseys, I have no idea. There goes Derrick Henry, little Derrick Henry sighting in the back there. He was there today. And look how that ball comes out from Lamar, man. This is May. Lamar Jackson. But that spiral is already giving mid-season form. Is it not? Is it not? That spiral is giving mid-season form already. I love it. Chef Spicy says, I want to see how Doyle's offense is different from Ben Johnson's. I expect there to be a lot of striking similarities, man. A lot of 3 tight end sets, a lot of pre-snap motion. How we've got the players to do it. Zay Flowers, how Adam Randall. Now we've got the players for that. The outside zone schemes, again, like I said before, especially with Dwayne Ledford. I think you're going to see a lot of striking similarities, and the Ravens have the pieces to make it all work. That's the thing. The Ravens have the pieces. Here's the thing. Declan Doyle is inheriting an offense that has all of the pieces necessary to pick right up where he left off in Chicago and just plug and play the schemes. I'm sure there'll be some tweaks, but when you go from Swift and Monungai to Derrick Henry, future Hall of Famer, and you go to one of the best tackles of the last 10 years in Ronnie Stanley, and you go to a number one pick, not number one, or first round pick in Venga Ioane, and you go to the fact that the Ravens have a good tight end in Mark Andrews. He's still a good tight end. I don't think he's necessarily great anymore, but he's still very good. He could have a resurgence and be great this next year. We'll see. And then they drafted 2 young guys. They have all the pieces, is what I'm saying. They have all the pieces on offense. So he's going to be able to do more with more, Declan Doyle. And adversely on the defense, Jesse Minter. He's got all the pieces to run a similar defense to what he ran last year in LA when they were shutting teams down. He's got all the same pieces. He's got the star edge rusher, right? He's got the star and jack of all trades safety. He's got studs on the defensive line. You know what I mean? And I would argue that those players that the Ravens have are an upgrade over what the Chargers defense had. So I don't even think that the offense or the defense will be very different from what you saw with the Bears last year and the Chargers last year, respectively, on offense and defense. I just think it's going to be a supercharged version of what you saw in Chicago, a supercharged version of what you saw with the Chargers defense. That's what I think. Chef Spicy. Shout out to you guys. Over 130 people watching live right now. Shout out to y'all. My name is Sutton Def. This is the Purple Rain Podcast YouTube channel. And this is the Quiet Storm Sports Show where we discuss everything Baltimore Ravens every day of the week. Okay. If you're enjoying the show, please leave a like on this video. Subscribe to the channel as well. We are giving away some Ravens gear on Thursday for our channel members. If you are a channel member, you don't got to worry about anything. Just make sure you show up and watch the show. Right? Because we're giving away some Ravens gear on Thursday. Let me see. What up, Coach? Appreciate you for coming through. Mind Strength says, remember when Minnie said Lamar could never throw spirals when he first arrived? That and everything negative did not age well. Yeah, I mean, people were saying, oh, he's throwing ducks. He only throws to spots. He can't throw his guys open. You guys know all the narratives, right? But those goalposts have been on the move. They've been on the move for 9 years. Can you believe it? Mind Strength 8. Can you believe that those goalposts been on the move for 9 years when it comes to judging Lamar Jackson? And specifically his throwing. It's like, because nowadays, right, like people know, right, that Lamar Jackson in 2026, he can throw the hell out of the football. But like for some reason, they still, like, if they just want to say something to discredit Lamar, it's just like, oh, well, he's more of a runner. He's more of a runner. They'll say that. And it's like, you guys are saying he's more of a runner than he is a thrower, but he's a better thrower statistically than 90% of the league. Chew on that. You're saying he's more of a runner, but he's actually a better thrower than the vast majority of quarterbacks in the league. What are we talking about, man? What are we talking about? MV3 should be 4 incoming. I love that. I love that. All right. So let's go ahead and move into some notes here from today. Let's move into some notes, guys, because you had Ryan Mink. There weren't a whole lot of people. There weren't a whole lot of media members at the castle today. The OTA today was not open to the general public media, so to say. That's going to be tomorrow. Tomorrow, we're going to be getting a whole lot of content. Listen, guys, please, if you're new here, subscribe to the channel today, because tomorrow we're right back at it, covering the Ravens in this exact same format. You guys already know what it is. And we will have actual interviews to react to from players and Jesse Minter tomorrow. And we're going to actually have footage. We're going to have real footage taken by our reporters who are going to be at the castle. So I want to make sure you're locked in here to the Purple Rain Podcast YouTube channel so we can go over all of that good stuff. Now, let's get into the standouts and takeaways from today's Ravens OTA practice. And this is again coming from Ryan Mink. He says, to start here, Keon Martin had an interception during 11 on 11s, and Jay Higgins had an interception during 7 on 7s. So, real quick, so this is what I mean by you had a couple of surprises. You had a couple of surprises here at today's OTAs. You don't hear too much typically about Keon Martin, and you definitely don't hear too much typically about Jay Higgins. Now, me personally, I was a big proponent of giving Jay Higgins more of a chance to see what he can do at that middle linebacker position. Right? Because looking at what he was able to do at Iowa, I think a lot of things from his game would translate to the professional level. And I just think that he wasn't really given the proper look, to be honest with you. What this defense needs, specifically what this linebacking core needs, is a playmaker. Okay, you need a playmaker. I don't just need a guy who's going to stuff the A and B gap on first and second down, and rack up tackles. Cough, cough, Roquan Smith. I need a guy who's going to be out there turning the other team over. Turn the football over. Get an interception. Force a fumble. Right? Be an enforcer on the field. That's what you need. That's what this linebacking core needs for the Ravens. They need a playmaker, and we don't have that right now. I think it might be able to be Teddy Buchanan. We could have seen a little more last year if he didn't blow out his knee on special teams. Trenton Simpson, I think, again, like I said, I'm going to make a video on him here soon, but he's a guy who maybe Jesse Minter can unlock. Trenton Simpson, he's got a lot of versatility, very underrated in that regard. He's very underrated as a versatile type of defensive player. But we'll see, right? We'll see. I mean, we've seen a good amount of Trenton Simpson, and it didn't really amount to much on most occasions. So I think you do need a playmaker at linebacker that's literally like a staple of a Baltimore Ravens defense, quite literally. It's a staple. You need that enforcer linebacker who makes plays in the middle of that defense. Ravens haven't had it. So love to hear that Jay Higgins got a pick today in 7 on 7s. And then Keon Martin is another low-key DB in that DB room who I just, I love him a lot. He kind of reminds me of almost like an Ardarius Washington in the sense that, maybe a little undersized, but like the guy just keeps making plays. Like, how is this guy just making plays? He just looks good, right? There were a couple of games last year where the Ravens did not look good, but Keon Martin, here and there, you'd see he step up and make a play. Whether that be a pass breakup, right? Whether just being disruptive, being instinctive on the defense in general. You saw that a lot with him. You saw that a lot with Keon Martin. Moving on here. So Jalen Hawkins had a pass breakup on a deep shot intended for Zay Flowers today as well. Jalen Hawkins is a guy who we got done talking about last week because he did, like I said before, that lounge interview podcast, which you learned some things about his mindset and how he's feeling about being a Raven so far. I've mentioned before, I think I mentioned this last week, how he is that type of safety where, if you throw deep, he's going to close the distance and he's going to be right there in the mix to make a play on the ball. And the fact that he had a pass breakup on Zay Flowers today, I mean, that's big. And here's the thing, Zay Flowers isn't really, how do I say this without pissing y'all off? Zay Flowers isn't really like a deep ball kind of receiver, right? Zay Flowers, when you think about it, he's not a guy who he's going to run a go route and you're going to throw it over the shoulder to him and he's going to catch it like in traffic and stuff like that. It's happened before. Don't get me wrong, he's done it before, but like that's just not his like calling card, if you know what I mean. That's not what he does. He more so is that receiver who goes, deep crossers over the middle, right? He'll catch it out in space or he'll work his way back to Lamar Jackson because he's good and understands the backyard football aspect of it all, but not really like, 3-step drop. He's running to go. He's got to step on his guy. He's starting to stack him. Lamar Jackson gets the ball out. Zay Flowers catches it over the shoulder. We've seen that maybe happen, what, twice, maybe 3 times in Zay's career. I'd give it like maybe 3 times, 3 or 4 on like a timing route is what I'm saying, guys, too. Because we've seen him go deep again, scramble out deep. We saw it against the Steelers in Week 18, but you guys get what I mean here. And it would be interesting to see like you see these notes here from Ryan Mink, but we don't have any footage to go with it, so we don't know what exactly Ryan Mink means by a deep shot here that was intended for Zay Flowers. But we'll see. We'll see. We'll see tomorrow. We'll see starting tomorrow once they get out more footage. Moving on. Elijah Surratt made a couple of long catches, including a smooth leaping grab. And see, again, this is where it makes me even more angry, right? Pissed off that we don't have any footage of this stuff just yet. We don't have any footage yet. But Elijah Surratt, I mean, if he's making long catches, and again, Ryan, what do you mean by long catches and deep shots? What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that? Because was this a long catch on a deep shot? I assume it was. But yeah, I mean, for me, like I mentioned before, Elijah Surratt, he has the highest potential when it comes to all pass catchers that were drafted in this past draft class for the Ravens. And the fact that he's already making long catches, of course, Lamar Jackson was was present today, so he's seeing that in real time. Okay, who is this guy, Elijah Surratt? I know we just drafted him, but I mean, he's making deep catches down the field. He's got some pretty good size to him too. Not too much shorter than this Jacoby Lane kid that we've now got too. Oh, and you said he just won a natty with Fernando Mendoza. Maybe I should start getting that guy the ball. Okay. And I think you're going to see that a lot across. That's going to be a theme across OTAs and training camp. Elijah Surratt routing dudes up and getting in that end zone. And if Lamar Jackson gets a rapport with either one, Elijah Surratt or Jacoby Lane, don't let it be both. Don't let it be both. The rest of the league is in trouble. And the rest of this Ravens wide receiving core is in trouble as well. For sure. Afia, I see you in the chat. What's going on? Good evening. Again, y'all, don't forget to join the Rain Gang. Like the video, y'all. Please leave a like. Let's take a little 5-second break here. If you haven't liked the video yet, please consider doing so now and subscribe if you are new. Little 5-second break. Like the video, y'all. Are we good? All right. Hopefully you've liked the video by now. I'll check the likes in a second here. Appreciate y'all again for supporting. All right. Let's see. Afia says it needs to be all of them. LOL, give him as many weapons as possible. I would agree. I would agree. But when it comes to paying Zay Flowers $30+ million, when you also have to pay Lamar Jackson coming up and then a couple of other guys as well. Nate Wiggins is going to be coming down the pipeline soon here. You kind of got to start counting your coins. You got to start pinching your pennies a little bit. And if both of those guys break out, Elijah Surratt and Jacoby Lane, and they're going to be on the cheap for the next 3-4 years, I'm just saying. Okay? I'm just saying. Moving on here. Moving on. Zion Young is going to be a tough to run at. I think there was a typo here from Ryan Mink. I think he just meant to say Zion Young is going to be tough to run at, which also excites me because here is a guy, Zion Young, who the Ravens drafted in the 2nd round. And his calling card and signature, if you will, is not necessarily big time sack guy, right? But what he is an energy guy. He's a big guy for one. He's an energy guy. He's a very smart guy. We've seen it in the interviews. He's not just rah-rah. He understands the game as well. And that's dangerous when you have both of those. And he's a guy who also wants to be there, if you know what I mean. Like, he wants to be there every single down. He wants to let you know he's coming after you. Let's do it. You know what I'm saying? Times 100. That's his thing. But his main calling card is that he can set the hell out of an edge. Right? And when you talk about being able to stop the run in the AFC North, who do you got in the AFC North running backs? I mean, you got Chase Brown, right? Had a good season. Rico Dowdle is now with the Steelers. He had a good season. Quinshawn Judkins, who I would argue is the best player on the Browns offense. He's coming back from injury. You got to be able to stop the run. You know, these outside runs and on the inside as well. It'll be interesting to see where they line Zion Young up, like, most frequently. Is it going to be on the outside on like early downs and things like that to like help stop the run, or maybe you scoot him inside. Maybe you scoot him inside a little bit, because he can do both. That's the thing about Zion Young. He can do both, and we'll have to see what he brings to the table on Sundays. But yeah, I mean, you got a run stuffer, two young edge guys, right, in this room. You got a proven run stuffer. That's his thing, Zion Young. And then you've got a technician as pass rusher at Mike Green. And again, I know we haven't seen it yet out of Mike Green, at least not consistently. But I think that with the, Trey Hendrickson taking up all the space that he's going to take up, these guys are going to have opportunities. These guys are going to have opportunities to get after the passer guys. I believe that. I truly do. So yeah, so that was the kind of the gist of the notes from today's OTAs. There was also this from Ryan Mink. He said the Ravens defense got revenge in today's, quote, at our best when our best is needed, end quote, drill to end practice. Coach Minter brought the medicine balls back out, this time with a backwards toss. And the defense won 3-0 with long tosses from Aeneas Peebles, Carl Jones, and Marquise Robinson. So this at our best when our best is needed drill was something that they started last week. Obviously the Ravens right now, they can't get into a ton of football activities. So they're still trying to do things to keep them active and keep them competing and keep them kind of bonding together. Right. So that's why you're seeing some of this stuff here. And last week you had the offense winning the challenge. Today you have the defense winning the challenge. So a little back and forth there. Just cool to see. Right. Not much there, but just cool to see. Okay. Speaking of Jesse Minter and the Ravens coaching, I wanted to bring this up here on screen and talk about, and I know some of you guys might be like, Sutton, why are you lending your platform to some of these fools here in the national media? But listen, it's May. It's May. And people are talking shit, quite frankly. So we got to talk about it here, because we don't let that fly here at PRP. Maybe they do it on other channels, right? Maybe they get on their high horse on other channels and don't talk about the national media. But listen, your boy Sutton, when they go low on my boy Lamar, I'm going to hell. That's what we doing, right? So I want to show you guys this. This is PFT. I know, Sutton, why you, again, I get it. But this is PFT, and they're talking about, kind of some skepticism behind Jesse Minter in his first year coaching the Ravens. Let's take a listen.
Time the coach of 18 years is gone, it's going to feel very different. And there are some key losses as it relates to players. You've had Isaiah Likely make a beeline to his former head coach, John Harbaugh, with the Giants. They had Tyler Linderbaum sign with the Raiders when they weren't able and willing to use the franchise tag. It cost too much. The Raiders blew the market out of the water, 50% over what it was, from $18 million a year to $27 million a year. Draymond Jones is signed with the Patriots. Alohi Gilman is signed with the Chiefs. Those are the key losses for the Ravens this offseason. But it starts with the coach, Chris. That changes everything. And that's, to me, I know you think the Ravens are still going to be good. That's the biggest question mark.
Yeah, totally.
Is the head coach going to be able to pick up where John Harbaugh left off?
That's right. That's it. And like you said, it is. They kind of kept some familiar. It's still familiar vibes. It's almost like the Patriots hiring Vrabel. You go like, yeah, it's not Belichick, but it's very Belichick
Come on, YouTube. This is already pissing me off, by the way.
Ish still. So it has that same culture vibe in itself, and I think that Jesse Minter will do that. He knows how the Ravens operate. Of course, the Ravens know how he operates, and we know that they operate at a high level. They've been one of the most relevant teams in the sport for about 28 years now.
Yeah. And so, real quick, I want to pause it there because they talk about, and it was Mike Florio who brings it up mainly. He's talking about, oh, well, is Jesse Minter going to be able to pick up where John Harbaugh left off? First of all, there is not a Ravens fan in existence that wants Jesse Minter to pick up exactly where John Harbaugh left off. Because if Ravens fans did feel that way, Ravens fans would have never wanted or celebrated when John Harbaugh got fired. So that's number one. And I understand how the national media does this thing with John Harbaugh. Like, they romanticize him so much, right? Like Jason McIntyre from the Colin Cowherd Show, we talked about it yesterday on the main pod. He talked about how they're building a bust for John Harbaugh as we speak. And you see Mike Florio here talking about John Harbaugh like he's just this one of these all-time coaches. I think it's got to be because of the name. It's got to be because of the last name. Of course, you have their father Jack, and then you have his brother Jim, and it's kind of like a lineage there. So it's like, oh, that whole family, that's a football family right there. Football families always get the benefit of the doubt. But when you really look at John Harbaugh's career coaching the Baltimore Ravens, as you guys can probably hear my dog barking in the background, you don't see a whole lot of success outside of the Lamar Jackson years where he literally saved his career. Right? John Harbaugh was on the hot seat before the Ravens drafted Lamar. Steve Bisciotti was thinking about firing him back in 2017. Because after that Super Bowl, probably about a year or two after that Super Bowl, the Ravens weren't on shit, man. They weren't hitting on anything. And even the Super Bowl year in 2013, a lot of people know, if you know, you know, John Harbaugh, yes, he was the head coach, but some things happened in that locker room where ultimately the players ended up stepping up and being the leaders and the catalyst that led that team to that 2013 championship. So I don't want to take away the ring away from Harbaugh. I'm not doing that. Don't get me wrong. But my point is, John Harbaugh ain't all cracked. He's not all, cracked up to what the media thinks he is. The media, if you ask the media, he's right there with Andy Reid and knocking on the door of the Bill Belichicks of the world. Right? If he just wins a few more playoff games, right? They'll put him in that conversation. Don't let him win a playoff game or two with the Giants. They'll say he's the greatest ever. I promise you. I promise you. Asmodeus with the super chat donation. Thank you so much, brother. Says Harbaugh is a fraud and New York will expose him. Can't wait. And this is true because New York media is a lot more ruthless, right? And a lot more abundant than Baltimore media. Baltimore is a small market compared to the likes of, an LA or a Texas team or like we mentioned here, New York. So yeah, he's got his work cut out for him. I can guarantee you this. He better not be on that sideline with that Harbaugh face. You guys know the one where he's got like the Terrell Suggs mouth where it's like always just open, it's just like sitting open and like dumbfounded. Like, you guys know that. You guys know the one, right? New York media will eat him alive for that. Eat him alive. But anyways, back to these two jokers here.
I mean, they've done an incredible job. So there's a formula that's tried and true there. I am one to think that they're going to be damn good this year. I just look at it and I go, yeah, Harbaugh, certainly, that's not easy to overcome. But I think Jesse Minter is a defensive genius. He's one of the best in the sport right now for my money. Then, other than that, yeah, you lose Linderbaum. He's definitely in the conversation for the best center in football. Other than that, I love Isaiah Likely. He's on the Giants. I think he's going to help out really well. But I don't like, the Ravens lost Draymond Jones and Isaiah Likely. Oh, no, they're going to fall off. You look at their team, they've got a chance to have a good offensive line, drafting an O-lineman in the first round. We know they got some weapons in Derrick Henry and Lamar. Defensively is where I'm excited about Baltimore for the first time in a while. They got some young studs in the secondary that can play a little bit. And I feel like it's the first time in a long time their front seven, I look at it and go, ooh, the Ravens, now that Justin Madubuike might be back healthy and the neck issue might be behind us,
I'm gonna let it rock.
They got depth in the front seven. They got versatility. The Ravens might be able to send waves of pass rushers at you for the first time.
Now, I do like that. What he said right there. The Ravens might be able to send waves of pass rushers against you for the first time in a long time. Because that is very true. Especially if Nnamdi Madubuike is able to come back. Right? I mean, I can only imagine Nnamdi Madubuike, who, at his peak had, almost 13 sacks season before last? Like 12 and a half, something like that. Or he might have had like 13 and a half. I can't remember. But it was in the double digits for an interior D lineman. He can rush the passer. Hell, Travis Jones led the Ravens in sacks last season with 5.5. He can rush the passer. Trey Hendrickson can rush the passer. Calais Campbell can get after the passer as well and use his length, if anything else. Mike Green is a guy who we're expecting to take a step forward. Tavius Robinson, super underrated outside backer, right? So, yeah, you are going to be able to throw it because obviously all those guys can't be on the field at the same time. And I'm not even talking about guys like Aeneas Peebles, who literally pass rush is his specialty. Yeah, you're going to have so many different packages if you're Jesse Minter and Anthony Weaver to throw at these offenses. Sky's the limit, really, for this defense. It should be a top 3 unit.
First time in a long time. They got guys like Mike Green, who should have been a first rounder in 2 years ago's draft that went to the second because of off the field, and Zion Young, who was a borderline first round talent this year. They got those guys backing up Trey Hendrickson and Tavius Robinson. So they got something brewing there, and they certainly would be my betting favorite for the AFC North, Mike.
Here's the question I have.
Yeah.
Jesse Minter, defensive genius.
Right.
That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But how many coordinators have we seen over the years that when it's time to be in charge of the locker room, when you got to have a presence, when you got to be able to talk to
here go y'all man. Here go y'all boy.
Grown men who have been through the fires, who can sniff out anything that isn't true authenticity, that can detect the BS collectively. Can you reach them? Can you inspire them? Can you motivate them? X's and O's take a back seat when it's time to stand up and get your players behind you. Get them committed to the greater good. Get them committed to each other. That's going to be Jesse Minter's challenge. And like many other coordinators who were very successful with the X's and O's, we don't know, we won't know whether he can pull a team together, especially when you follow a big personality like John Harbaugh.
That's right.
All right. So you hear that's another hot take from Mike Florio, basically questioning the leadership skills of Jesse Minter. Literally questioning the leadership skills of Jesse Minter. He's basically saying, hey, look, he's a super smart guy, defensive genius, awesome. But when it's time to lead the troops into the battle, is he that guy? Can he be that guy? And what I'll say to that is this. John Harbaugh wasn't that guy, right? So I don't know where he's getting, John Harbaugh was such a big personality. He wasn't. He's about as cool as a cucumber on Sundays on that sideline, right? You never really saw him. Show me a time where you saw John Harbaugh motivating and leading his guys into the battle. I mean, us as Ravens fans, we remembered all the Ravens wired over the years where he has the guys in the film room and stuff like that, and he's talking to a whole room full of players and things. He's not being this rah-rah Dan Campbell, Mike Vrabel type of guy. He's just kind of giving you his Harbaugh-isms right? Saying things that like make sense on paper, philosophically, even. And that was his style of leadership. And Jesse Minter can do that exact same thing. He can do that exact same thing. And oh, yeah, by the way, he's younger, so he can relate to the players a whole lot more too. And oh, another thing, if you're looking for leadership, look no further than Anthony Weaver, the defensive coordinator who doesn't have to worry as much about X's and O's because the head coach is going to take care of that for the most part. Anthony Weaver, not again, I mentioned this the other day. I'm not going to say this is his only responsibility, but one of his main responsibilities, at least from what I see now, as somebody who covers his team all year round, he's going to be a motivator. He's going to be a guy who gets the dudes ready to go and ready to fight on Sundays. And I think for that reason, he's going to be in line for some head coaching candidacies. Maybe not this upcoming offseason, well, the next offseason that is, but maybe the one after that. If this Ravens defense continues to, perform at a top level, obviously Jesse Minter's not going anywhere. He's already a head coach. So the next one to go somewhere will be Anthony Weaver. And I think that he's going to be able to do that. He's going to benefit from, again, the X's and O's of Jesse Minter and the collaboration that he has with him, but also just being able to focus on being that leader that Mike Florio is talking here. That's where you're going to get the leadership from. Okay, that's where you're going to get it from. Anthony Weaver. There's your answer. So, World Class, what up? I see you in the chat. Replay Gang, shout out to you as well. Shout out to everybody who's part of the Replay Gang. Make sure you comment down below what you're thinking. Void says, who's got it better than us? Every freaking body. Listen, man, I'm so glad we don't have to hear that weird, because like it never really made sense to me, to be honest with you. But neither here nor there. Neither here nor there. Hopefully New York enjoys it. We'll see how long that lasts, right? We'll see how long that lasts. Weaver is not talked about enough. That's what I'm saying. Didn't we interview Weaver for the head coach position? I think we did. Nation World says Declan's going to get a job before Weaver for whatever reason that may be. If any reason, I think it could potentially be just the fact that you're going to have Declan Doyle not only drawing up the offense, but also calling plays, whereas you're going to have Anthony Weaver probably not calling plays, definitely not calling plays, and having a hand in the game plan, right? So I think that they would credit Declan Doyle a little bit more than they would Anthony Weaver, if you catch my drift. But okay. Nation World says, the reason. I mean, if it's just like pure racism, and that's why like I had to like give it nuance, because like, yeah, if it were the exact same situation, like let's say if it were Harbaugh, still head coach, right? Doesn't specialize in offense or defense, and you had Declan Doyle and Tony Weaver, and they both had top performing offenses and defenses, and Tony Weaver never even got a call for a head coach, and Declan Doyle got all the calls, then I'd be like, yeah, I'd call it out then. But I don't think that's the case. I don't think that would be the case in this scenario, brother. Harbaugh couldn't drive the Ferrari he had and didn't do any maintenance. We just got a new driver and a tune-up. I'm ready for the season for real. Tactical precision training. I'm so glad you brought this up, because Florio's entire point here is that, this new head coach, right? Like, what is he going to be doing? He's basically acting as if the Ravens are going through or coming out of a rebuild, and you just kind of have to see what the Ravens look like. No. We already know what this Ravens team is going to look like. This was not a rebuild. Jesse Minter bought a house on the market that was a turnkey house. All he had to do was turn the key, and everything that he needed was already there. He's already got a star quarterback. He's already got multiple Pro Bowlers and all pros on defense, which is his side of the ball. He's already got a future Hall of Fame running back. You've already got a wide receiver one. You got a top end tight end and Mark Andrews. You can still argue that he's probably top 10, right? He's got everything. So why are we acting as if he's not inheriting anything? If Mike McDonald had inherited a better quarterback than Geno Smith in his first season coaching the Seattle Seahawks, the Seahawks probably would have been way more dangerous in that first season. So the fact that Jesse Minter has the luxury of inheriting a Lamar freaking Jackson, who by himself, on his own, is going to keep you in so many games. As long as you as the head coach do not just completely, and I mean completely, shit the bed. It's an easy job. I hate to say it like that, but I mean, like, no job in the NFL is easy, but relative to the other head coaching jobs that have been available recently, the Ravens job was the easiest by far. So again, don't act like we're rebuilding here, because we're not. That's not at all what's going on. Not at all what's going on. Florio never has anything good to say about the Ravens anyways. Again, I wish we'd ignore him and his friends. Yes. Yes. I understand that, Afia. But again, here at PRP, we wake it up. Right? Here at PRP, we wake it up. That's what we do. Okay. I think that's about it here, guys, for this episode. Got through all of the OTA stuff. And again, tomorrow, we are going to be back here and we are going to be covering all of the latest and greatest from the OTAs that's going to be open to the media. We've got player interviews tomorrow. We get an interview from Jesse Minter. So we will be breaking all of that down right here on the Purple Rain Podcast YouTube channel. Don't forget, like the video, subscribe to the channel. Membership only giveaway. On Thursday's episode, we will be giving away some Ravens gear. So if you want a chance to win, please consider joining our channel membership. Outside of that, I love you guys. I appreciate each and every one of you. Yes, you watching right now. I appreciate you for coming through, liking the videos, watching the videos, subscribing to the channel, being a member, super chat donating, gifting member, whatever you do, however you show support for this channel. I truly do appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. Yeah. Till next time, stay positive, test negative. Never, ever, ever forget, even on the rainiest of days, to call God. And as always, may purple rain. Peace.